See, the key to really solid employee engagement, at least in the beginning side, happens before the hiring process.
Welcome to another $4 million Strategies, the best 4 minutes in business. Today we have with us Brian Bogert. He is today going to talk to us about how to have the best employee engagement in your company. Brian, tell us what you know.
So I think a big thing to focus on is that so many companies focus on profits before people, which makes it really difficult to have effective engagement. And so I think we need to flip the paradigm here and we need to put people before profits. And that's ultimately just a concept that I want to sit to begin with. But if we look at employee engagement, the other side of this is that people say, oh man, well, my employees aren't engaged and I need to get them re-engaged. And they look at it as if it's a fix to something that happens once someone's already on the team. See, the key to really solid employee engagement, at least in the beginning side, happens before the hiring process. It happens in the questions that we ask to be able to get aware of both the fit within our culture, but as well the alignment with the specific job that people are going to have, because so many people are going to apply and go through the process of doing a job. But if we don't do a good job as leaders, explaining to them the expectations, the outline, what it looks like, and also challenging and bringing to the surface the areas on whether or not it may be in alignment for them, we're missing the boat before we've even made the hire. And then we're bringing people who are misaligned, who aren't the right fit, who aren't the right people, and they don't have the same level of cultural engagement. The next piece is that we look at and assume that employees remain engaged because of the transaction that exists in employment, i.e. we pay them well and we offer them good benefits, and this may be the reason that they're here. Yet at the same time, there can be so many other factors. See, in risk management employee benefits consulting, which was my background, we built the employee experience practice. What did we look at here is in the overall human capital expenditures, what are the biggest levers that we can pull within each given culture that are going to create the deepest level of engagement, loyalty, and sustainability within teams? Because why do we want high engagement? Well, guess what? An engaged workforce is a happy workforce. Our clients and our customers and our communities all benefit from it. But engagement also drives growth within organizations because it's not just punching the clock. And so what are areas that we can feel engagement dip, or maybe something that we haven't considered? It's how are we actually appreciating our employees and what is it that they actually value, right? We can put in break rooms and all these different types of cultural elements with weekend parties and whatever. But if it isn't in alignment with what our teams want, then it doesn't really matter. We're putting a square peg in a round hole. We did consulting with a big construction company once, and they were losing teams. I mean, their turnover rate was insane. Their engagement was decent when they were there, but they weren't keeping people long enough to make it worthwhile anyway. So they were less focused on engaging the folks. They were more focused on how do we keep folks. But ironically, it was the same solution. See, what was happening is they believed that their pay was out of whack. They believed that even though they were at the higher end of their marketplace with their blue collar labor, their CFO had this $4 million solution, which was if we increase everyone's pay by X and we give them additional benefits, then we're going to keep all of our people. The reality of it is when we actually went in and we started to survey and ask the right questions to understand what was really going on, the teams felt like leadership in the company didn't understand or see who they were, because what was valued to them was having new boots, new shirts, new hard hats, and new equipment basically provided for them on every 90-day rotations. Why were they losing talent? Because all their competitors were providing all of this for them every 90 days. This organization provided it once a year and thought that everything else that they needed was going to be covered by their higher wages. Here's the kicker. It wasn't a $4 million solution. They did nothing with their wages. We put together a plan that cost them $50,000 to put this in rotation to give the employees what they were asking for every 90 days. Not only did their retention ultimately get fixed immediately, but they had an engaged, loyal workforce because leadership listened to the needs and created the solution that was in alignment both for the organization and for the teams.
Yeah, Brian, you just knocked it out of the park there. That was a great example. And once again, having a background as a CFO it's so easy, right, to throw money at quote unquote the problem, and we're seeing it the wrong way. These are our assets. We have to invest in our assets, but invest where it's needed, not necessarily where we perceive. It's not all about money. You said it's about getting the right resources, but knowing what that is, right? And I think you did a great job of, once again, that example you had of, hey, it was just getting gear to be competitive. And we get that. You combine it with our salary that we already have. And then the cost, right? The one cost, you saving one employee is huge ROI right there alone. So Brian, thank you so much for this great insight on employee engagement on $4 million strategies.